Hi, and welcome to You Rising, the podcast where we get to explore and discover how to create a wow kind of life. I'm your host, Lorianne Rising. I'm an international award-winning author and a spiritual and intuitive mentor. And this is Mentorship Monday, where we get to explore and talk with a real life woman about her journey and her courage moving through it. And today I have with me Monica Washington. She's happily unmarried, child-free, works from home, and is moving toward retirement. So thank you so much, Monica, for being here with me today. I really, really appreciate you.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. So just to kind of get a sense of things, I'm curious if you can share with me just a little bit about what it is that you're here for. What would you most like to get out of this conversation today?
Hmm. Um, I've made the decision. It's been coming for a while, but um, moving towards my retirement and taking some steps in that direction. Curious if I'm covering all my bases or if there's anything I'm missing. I'm also really trying to embrace my Crone,
Mm.
um, and and move into that with grace. And I find that I struggle with that. I I'm decided to let my hair go gray and stop dyeing it. So there's that piece of it. Just getting older, aging, and being okay with it. And I find mostly I'm struggling right now with it. And it's only been it's not, I don't know that it's COVID related, but I recently joined a spiritual group. I did a couple of intensives this summer and then in the fall. And now I've joined the full group. It's called 13 Moons for Women. And I'm hoping that that will also help me in my journey. I've had a great mentor, over a spiritual mentor, for much of my life and my adult life, and I kind of let it go for a while, and now I'm just really trying to get back into that and keeping that spirituality and my spiritual path like present every day. So yeah,
Cool.
that's where I'm at.
Okay. Well, that sounds like several different areas to kind of go in. Which would you like to sort of go first?
Um, I think touching on the career
Okay.
ending piece, because I don't know that I mean, maybe there's more there than I think I know, but just if there's anything I'm missing that I should become aware of. And
The first thing that's coming to mind is know that you are doing a really good job of staying conscious and being aware, and to continue doing so. Um, at the same time, I get images, and quite often they're metaphoric, so I have to work through them, and maybe it means something more to you than it might to me. Um, but it's interesting because the image that comes to mind is you, but I can only see half of you.
oh,
And so I'm not totally clear. It's almost like, well, what I'm hearing is to bring all of you into it, as if there's parts of you that you may not be engaging. And I'm not sure if that's
Would that be parts of me in my current career while I'm still there? Or am I missing parts of me embracing the retire? I don't know. Sometimes when I pull cards, I feel like I should just leave now, like take a leap of faith. But I don't know. I'm not getting a clear sense of that either.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
What's coming up, what I'm getting is to bring your whole heart into it. That there's a lot of head thinking, um, and to be more in the heart, in the body, and to trust yourself.
Okay.
Um,
That
and really
that
more, what makes you smile, and follow that. And it doesn't mean, throw caution to the wind, but you
Mhm.
know, moving in the direction of where your smiles take you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I can see where I can do that in where I'm at currently in my job.
Okay.
My biggest struggle with that is my manager and I don't quite align. I don't align, and I try really hard to find a way that we can, and I'm not finding it. So that's my biggest struggle. Maybe that's the half piece that I don't bring.
Hmm. Yeah, when we feel like we're in places where we have to protect ourselves or dance around
Mhm.
something, or, yeah, parts of us wind up sort of getting hidden and put
Yeah, that's
away.
it exactly.
Yeah. I've been there. So,
Yeah,
I don't imagine many of us have not at some point in
right,
time in our lives.
right.
So it's totally understandable. So yeah, the
Okay.
the encouragement is definitely moving in the direction of what's going to bring you back together with yourself.
All right. That's helpful. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then I know you were talking about the Crone piece.
I know. I know it's a polarizing word, but
I personally love it,
I know
honestly.
I do too. If I really think about what that means, I
Mhm.
mean, yeah.
Yeah. And this is really a place where there's so much of our social culture laid on top of the truth of us,
Hmm.
and having to shed that.
Hmm.
Um, so I completely understand. And it's interesting because what comes to mind is actually an image of you with wings that are beginning to unfold. So there's a part of you in this that it is going to feel like there's an unfolding and sort of a stretching out and becoming more as you're able to embrace it.
I like that. I As we were talking, I one thing that came up for me is that I realized that I there's a fear of when I let go of my job, what do I do and who am I?
Mm,
I mean, before the pandemic, I've been doing burlesque for the last 10 years. And,
mm,
now that I knew that was coming to an end for me. I could feel it inside. And then COVID just kind of helped finish that piece. But now there's that, what's next?
mm,
I still have my job, and that defines a part of me, but I don't really know where to go next to find that fulfillment.
And it's interesting because what comes to my mind is seeing you inside of an egg, or maybe it's a seed, but there is that place of rebirthing happening into a new phase of your life. And so some of those answers are not meant to be there yet. It's, like the seed under the soil, it has to remain under there for a reason, for a time.
Mm.
Knowing that it's gathering the nutrients it needs, it's gathering everything it needs to it so that it can, once it comes up, it can handle the light, it can handle the elements, it can handle, everything and transform that into more nutrients. So there is a purpose to being inside the egg or under the ground for a while. So to embrace that space and allow it to be, that you'll feel you'll feel it. You'll feel the breaking out, you'll feel the surfacing. And again, it comes back to, follow the smiles, follow your heart, bring all of you into this, and just see what it becomes for yourself.
So let it unfold and I'll
Mm-hmm.
know. That's, I'm afraid I'll miss it. Like, I'll just
You
be sitting
can't.
there like, oh, there it was. I missed it.
It's interesting. The instantaneous, you won't is what comes to mind. I don't.
Okay.
Sometimes what comes to mind is, is that what they really said? That one was real clear. Um, you won't. It will be there.
Okay.
You'll feel it. You'll know it. It'll put a big smile on your face. It'll feel natural. He said it's going to feel like, that coming out, the unfolding of the wings, that type of experience as you move forward. So, yeah.
Good. I like that.
Yeah. And I get that you're taken care of. That's what I hear. You're
Ooh,
taken care of. So there's a trust and faith process that they're asking from you. Um, to hold that space for yourself. Sometimes when we go through transitions and there's the empty space in between, not knowing what to do with ourselves, we start filling it with whatever we need to stay busy and be comfortable again.
right.
um,
I fear that.
yeah.
I'm a little impatient too, so I want to
Mhm.
know. I want to know now. And
Yeah. And that's human nature, especially since we live in the social media world and everything's instant, and that instant gratification is a natural normal desire, and of course it's heightened by the world we now live in. So it's okay, and the request is to remain really conscious of what you're bringing into your space during this time.
in my physical space or every,
Everything, physical, emotional, spiritual. um, Make sure that it feels in alignment. And it's okay to test something if you're not sure. Experiment with different things and see how it feels. And give yourself permission to back out of something if it doesn't feel right, even if it did at first. Um,
okay.
that permission to stay in alignment with
Mhm.
yourself, regardless of what appearances may be around you.
Okay. That's helpful. Thank you.
Absolutely. If it's helpful at all, I love sharing just a little personal experience of mine around this,
Sure.
the Crone piece. I just absolutely love. And I think it's because I have a different relationship with aging that came about sort of accidentally. Because when I was a kid, I was about 10 years old, and I remember chatting with my grandmother, and my grandmother was super intelligent, super talented, and very, very serious. She rarely laughed. She was a wonderful, warm-hearted woman, but she was just, life was serious for her. And I remember we were
Mhm.
chatting, and I said something that made her laugh. And I remember watching her face just absolutely light up. And all the crow's feet around her eyes made her eyes look like sunshines. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't wait to have crow's feet so I can have sunshines too.
I love that.
And that
That's
has
a
always
wonderful.
stayed with me. And there's this part of me, people comment, I'm like, oh, you're aging well. And there's a part of me that's sort of disappointed by that because I'm not getting the crow's feet as early as I thought I would. Which is totally not what I hear from most women. And I stopped dyeing my hair already years ago. So it's mostly gray now, which is occasionally shocking even for me. But I started going gray at 19 too. So I'm like,
Yeah.
well, there's that. But
No, I did too, but now it's seriously there, so I've decided to. And I know my hairdresser's happy because she said, "You have gorgeous gray hair. You should let it go."
yeah,
So I am. I've
good.
decided to do that. Yeah, when you were telling me that, thank you for sharing that. That was really,
Yeah.
that's, I love hearing stories like that. And I've been thinking a lot about my great aunt who
Mm.
was just a wonderful, delightful, happy, generous woman. And I think I never looked at her and thought, oh, you're just an old lady. She was just everything.
Mm. Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
I can be like her.
It's wonderful to have such beautiful role models. Very
Yeah.
cool. And getting involved in the women's circle will probably very much be helpful too, because we do need
Yeah.
to surround ourselves with those who support where we are and what we're becoming. So
Mhm.
that's a really good thing. Absolutely.
And I'm hoping I'm having trouble finding the courage to really open up to the other women in the group. It's very early on, but even in the intensives that I did in the summer and the fall, I find that I don't share my voice in the group. And much easier for me to do it like one-on-one, but I want to be able to share more in the group and hoping that just comes.
Mm. It's interesting because I sort of see a lock, like there's something that's really blocking that.
Mhm.
Um, and it can, melt away with time. Um, it may be something, though, that if you chose to, you could unlock a little bit. Um, I don't know if that's something is the life coach and mentor side wants to come out. And before I do, I want to make sure, is that something you're comfortable with? Do you want to kind of explore that, or would you like to do that
Yeah.
more on your own?
No, if you're feeling something that you want to share or give me some tools that might, yeah, because I'm struggling with that.
Okay.
I'm a There's a bit of fear behind that. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure what that fear is.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's the fear behind the fear?
Understandable. Well, in my experience, one of the things I've learned is that any of these, we consider them negative or just uncomfortable emotions. Underneath those, there's always a positive, supportive message. Quite often, fear is the part of us that wants to protect us. So there's a supportive message in that, but we experience it as the fear. and try to push it away quite often. So, one of the things that I encourage people to do, and if you're open to it, I can walk you through a little bit here too, is to dive into it a little bit more to get to the other side of it.
Okay.
Is that something you're comfortable with doing here?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not sure, but
Cool.
let's try it.
Well, and if at any time you want to stop, by all means,
Okay.
you are free to say so. So,
Okay.
um, first, it's just really get comfortable and just center yourself. If you're more comfortable closing your eyes or looking down, whatever works for you to center within. And so, knowing that this is a really safe space, invite that fear in, allow it to be there, give yourself permission to feel it. And I'm curious, as you do, can you describe where you're feeling it?
Um, Here in my chest
Mm-hmm.
and here.
In your
Just,
throat.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, with a deep breath, focusing on those places, knowing that emotions are a form of energy, watch them shift and move and begin to flow down into your hands so that they're separate from you, but you're still holding them. And as that energy moves out of you and flows into your hands, kind of see it becoming a little ball or another shape. What does that become for you? What does it look like?
The shape,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's actually like a cube.
Hmm. Okay. What color is it?
Hmm. I don't really have a cup. It doesn't really, I would say gray, like steely gray.
Okay. That's perfect. Does it have a texture or a weight to it at all?
Not a significant weight, um, just it's smooth.
Hmm. Okay. Neat. So, with another deep breath, watch as that cube transforms again. And this time it's becoming some kind of living, breathing being. And it might be an animal, it might be a human form of some kind, it might even be a mythical creature. But watch it transform naturally, easily into a living, breathing being. And what is that becoming for you?
a mouse.
Cute.
Yeah.
So, knowing this mouse has a positive, supportive message to share with you, ask it what it most wants you to hear right now and know right now. Well, what comes to mind?
Be gentle.
Hmm.
Be kind.
Hmm. Is that with yourself or with others? Or both?
Myself.
Hmm.
Mm.
Wonderful. Is there anything else this little mouse wants to share with you right now?
No, no. If mice can giggle, he's giggling. This is
I
so
love that. How beautiful.
Mm.
Well, with a deep breath, just say thank you to this little mouse and let him scurry away wherever he goes. Knowing, of course, you can invite him back anytime you need to.
Mm. It's funny because I also was thinking, well, mice are not very loud.
Mm.
And I thought, oh, there's something that I don't know if it was a story or the mouse that roared. So that just popped into my head.
Oh.
Like, the mouse gonna find my voice.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Now, how beautiful that the fear has such a wonderful, warm message for you in
Yeah,
that way.
I'll sit with that one for a bit.
Yeah. So, in what ways might you be more kind to yourself, maybe?
Ah, maybe less judgmental,
Mm. Yeah.
not as hard on myself as I tend to nitpick in my head little things like, oh, you shouldn't do that, or you shouldn't, don't say that, that's really stupid. Or,
Mm.
in some areas, I'm very confident in my life and in my career, but I'm finding that so in the women's group, which is where I want to be.
Mm.
Like, yeah, you really don't have anything to share, but
Mm.
so I think that's where the be gentle, be kind comes in.
Yeah. So, what if you gave yourself permission to be at the next group, and the next time you feel like there might be something, just give yourself permission to say it in a really messy, uncomfortable way?
Okay. crisis.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know one of the things that often happens to all of us in some way or another in some part of our lives is getting our expectations at a certain point that we know we can't reach them or
Mm.
we don't believe that we can. And so when we lower our expectations to something that's like ridiculously easy, we discover really how good we can be in that space. And so the invitation is just lower those expectations.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
Thank you. That was helpful.
good, good. Yeah, I've been warned I should tell people to bring Kleenex. I apologize. I saw you wiping
No,
your eyes a little. So
you got a little, I should know better. I can get very emotional and
that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I think, especially for us women, permission to feel is one of the most important permissions we can give ourselves.
mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing. I'm
Yeah,
glad.
gotten better at that one.
Good.
So,
Hmm. Wow. Was there anything else that you feel like you want to ask or bring up or anything that feels incomplete?
no, nothing is jumping up for me. Is
Good.
there anything you're getting that you need to share?
Hmm. No, what I get is that the messages have come through and you're exactly where you need to be, even if it doesn't necessarily feel like it all the time. Um, you are. Like I said, you're protected, you're supported, and you're not alone.
That's good to know.
Mm,
That is good to know.
absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Ah, perfect timing.
One I never answer.
Oh, we all have one of those, don't we?
Yeah, I'm
Wonderful.
still one of those. I have a landline and just in case.
Yeah, they're good to have for
So,
sure.
yes,
Wonderful.
comes in handy.
Well, I want to thank you, Monica, for sharing, for being willing to be vulnerable, for your courage, and just for being you. You have a lot to offer, and I think it's going to unfold in really beautiful ways for you. So, thank you for sharing this piece of the journey with us and with
Thank
me.
you. Thank you very much for your time and all of your insight. It was really helpful
Oh, wonderful. Thank
and
you.
comforting.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm a little unsure, and it's just nice to get another perspective. And that was very, very comforting. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Well, and for those who are listening, if you or a woman you know is going through transition or has a question and would like some support, please feel free to reach out. Visit my website at loriannrising.com. There are resources there, as well as the opportunity to check into private readings and mentorship as well. And while you're there, please do check out my newsletter. In fact, the meditative experience that we used here today, I've actually created as a downloadable audio on my website that puts you on my newsletter as well and gives you the opportunity to connect with discounts and other things going on in the future that I'm creating to support you and the women you know. So check that out. And until next time, my friends, keep rising.